Next, kingdom Monera. So kingdom Monera includes the prokaryotic unicellular organisms in this primitive type of nucleus. Prokaryotic means primitive type of nucleus, and only one cell will be there. So unicellular organisms, these are the most primitive organisms, means very old type of organisms. They are known to be the first organisms which occurred on the earth. So in kingdom Monera are the first organisms which occurred on the earth. So you already studied about prokaryotic organisms in previous chapters. Prokaryotic organisms are primitive type of organisms. In this, nucleus is not well defined. So we know that. So they gave some characteristics to define easily, to remember easily. Membranous well defined nucleus is not seen. In this, membrane bounded nucleus is not seen, and the genetic material is seen in the form of double stranded coiled helical DNA matter within the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, the genetic material will be in the form of double-stranded coiled helical DNA matter. So, and membrane-bound cell organelles such as mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, plastids, all these are not present, absent. So, ribosomes and lipid globules are seen in cytoplasm. So, cell wall is present in some cells while absent in some others. They may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic means which can prepare their own food. Heterotrophic, which depend on autotrophs for food. Like this, there are characteristics of kingdom Monera. So in this, first we will discuss about bacteria. Of all the microorganisms, bacteria, singular, it is plural form, so singular is bacterium, is the most abundant. It will be more present in our world. It is found in soil, water, hot water, springs, polar ice, food, decaying matter. We can say everywhere. So bacteria can be found everywhere, and they are the simplest of all the living organisms. Then habitat means the place where they live. So I already told bacteria exist almost everywhere, in the air, in water, in soil, in food products, and also in our bodies. So all the bodies of other living organisms like this. And when we see the size is very, 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 very small. We can see only with the help of microscope. So varies from 0.2 to 100 micron. 100 micron means 10 to the power of minus 6 meters. So bacteria are about 3 lakh times smaller than amoeba. When we compare it with amoeba, they are 3 lakh times smaller. Then the smallest is the rod-shaped bacteria. The smallest bacteria we can see is rod-shaped bacteria. It is about 0.15 micron. The largest is the spiral-shaped bacteria. It is about 15 microns in length and 15 microns in diameter. So shape, what is the shapes? The bacteria are of different shapes. Spherical shape, they are called cocci. So spherical shapes are called cocci. For example, micrococci, diplococci, streptococci, staphylococci. These are all the names of different types of bacteria. Then rod-shaped are called bacilli, singular bacillus, and different types of bacillus bacteria are diplobacilli, streptobacilli, etc. And spiral-shaped are called spirilla or singular spirillum. And examples of this are Treponema, Campylobacter. Then comma-shaped are called vibrio, and so the vibrio. And these are all the different types of bacteria with shapes and examples you should remember. Then structure, how the structure will be. Bacteria, we know they are single-celled organisms and they can exist as chain or a group of cells. So they will exist in a chain form. So they will be attached in a chain form, or they exist in a group of cells. A bacterial cell possesses a hard cell wall. It will be having a hard cell wall but does not have a nucleus, don't have a nucleus. The nuclear material lies scattered in the cytoplasm of the cell. In the cytoplasm, it is just scattered. So, and then many bacteria such as typhoid causing bacteria possesses cilia. They will have cilia, flagella, which helps them in moving. They are like hair-like structures present on them. They are called cilia or flagella like this, which helps in moving. Then how they will take the food. So nutrition. So many bacteria cannot prepare their own food. They have to prepare their food. So bacteria prepare their food by process of photosynthesis if some bacteria are preparing. They are called autotrophic bacteria which can prepare their food. So normally many bacteria cannot prepare their own food. They depend on the other organisms. Here see generalized structure of bacterium cell they gave. So it is Fimbria. So normally absent it will be, but in some bacteria it will be present for adhesion to surfaces. So in surfaces to take inside. Then viscous capsule. So here we can see viscous capsule. It is also often present, but in some it will be present. It is composed of materials, usually carbohydrates, and size and nature may be affected by environment, and it also helps in protection against desiccation, and also it helps in food storage. Then the cell wall is rigid cell wall. It gives shape to the bacteria, and it helps in the presence of growth and reproduction, and it consists of materials, so many materials, but cellulose will not be there, and it is semi-permeable plasma membrane will be there. And cytoplasm, which contain food, stores food like glycogen, fats, etc., and also it contains some dissolved pigments. And nuclear material, we can see here dots, they are scattered in some small separate areas. Then flagellum, this is often absent in but it will be present in some bacteria, so it helps in movement for locomotion. Like this we can see here they give bacteria reproduce every 9 to 5 minutes. For every 9 to 5 minutes it will produces, and E. coli, if you see, it will produce every 20 minutes. So the bacteria which cause TB, tuberculosis, and leprosy reduce very slowly because they will be reproducing very fastly. This makes an early diagnosis of this disease difficult. That's why it is very difficult to diagnose it, because its rate of spreading will be more. Then some bacteria, what they will do, they will eat on dead and decaying organisms. They are called saprophytes or parasitics. Saprophytes means which eat on dead and decaying animals, and some are parasitic which stay on another body like host and obtain nutrition from them. Then how they will grow? So the most bacteria need moist and warm environment and the temperature from 30 to 37 degrees centigrade. So if the bacteria requires oxygen for the growth, they are called aerobic bacteria. If they don't need oxygen for their growth, they are called anaerobic bacteria. Then how they will reproduce? Here we can see bacteria normally reproduce by binary fission. Binary means it will divide into two daughter cells. Under favorable conditions, sexual reproduction is also observed. A bacterial cell grows in size. First, a bacterial cell will grow in size, and the division of nuclear material takes place, and cytoplasm also will start dividing into two new cells called daughter cells are formed. Like this, see the cytoplasm and nuclear material which is dividing. Here cytoplasm is divided, nuclear material is divided into two. Here the constriction we can see. Here completely divided, and here completely formed two daughter cells. It will separate and it will exist. So bacteria are found in various habitats on earth, soil, water, radioactivates, and even in hot springs. Bacteria can be useful also, even it also harmful also. So good bacteria are called probiotics. Next, some useful bacteria are their uses are given below. So some bacteria are very useful to us. Let's see. Some beneficiary actions of bacteria are described below. Preparation of curd. So cheese from milk is due to bacterial action. So when we put the milk and little curd in that, so after next day it will become curd. How it will become curd? Because of the bacterial action in that. And production of vinegar, wines, alcohols from fruit juices, because these all get fermented with the help of bacteria to produce this. Then bacteria will also make meat soft by breaking the tough muscle fibers. So even bacteria present in the intestines of cows, buffaloes, what they will eat? Cows, buffaloes, they will eat the grass and plants. So they are very hard, cellulose will be there present in them. This will be digested with the help of bacteria. Then there will be some bacteria called symbiotic bacteria in the root nodules of leguminous plants. It will absorb atmospheric nitrogen and it will convert it into nitrogenous compounds that are useful to the plants. Then denitrification bacteria also convert excess nitrate into the soil into free nitrogen. Opposite to that is denitrification bacteria, means nitrification bacteria and denitrification bacteria are present, which helps in the giving of nitrogen to the plants, which helps in the growth of plants. Next, anaerobic bacteria. It decomposes animal wastes to biogas, which is used as domestic fuel. Some anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic means which don't need oxygen. So these bacteria will decompose the animal waste into biogas, which is helpful as domestic fuel. Some bacteria also helps in the tanning of leather. Even they decompose the dead remains of plants and animals and helps in the giving of nutrients to the soil. Next, harmful bacteria. Some harmful actions of bacteria are described here. Bacterial action causes spoilage of food. So because of bacteria, food will be spoiled, milk will be soured, and putrefaction of meat. Meat will be getting bad smell because of this, and fruits will get rotten, vegetables will get rotten, like this. Then bacteria is Staphylococci, Clostridium botulinum causes food poisoning by producing toxins in the food. They will produce toxins, dangerous chemicals in the food, which will cause food poisoning to us. Then many diseases are caused by bacteria like tuberculosis, tetanus, cholera, typhoid, diphtheria, pneumonia, leprosy, etc. So bacteria also causes diseases not only in human beings, in animals and also plants. Then staphylococcus could lead to several skin diseases such as eczema. So staphylococcus will give so many skin diseases like eczema, and it is also responsible for causing diseases in human beings, plants and animals. So like this we can see bacteria, their structure, shape, size, reproduction, and what are its uses, what are its harmful effects, like this we discussed. This is all about kingdom Monera. Next is kingdom Protista. It also contains unicellular eukaryotes. In Monera, unicellular prokaryotes. Here, unicellular eukaryotes. So, eukaryotes means well-defined nucleus will be present. So, membrane-bound cell organelles, distinct nucleus, defined by a nuclear membrane, vacuoles, and cytoplasm. These are all observed. Some protists also have cellulose. Cell wall will also be present. Cell wall will be having cellulose, cuticle or pellicle around their cell. Around the cell, cuticle will be present. Cell wall is present in photosynthetic protists. The protists which do photosynthesis, they have cell wall and absent in protozoan protists, and they are not present in protozoan protists. So protists can be, as we can see, they are autotrophic as well as heterotrophic, means they can prepare their own food or they depend on other organisms. For example, diatoms are photosynthesis. Entamoeba is absorptive. Amoeba is holozoic nutrition. So Physarum is holozoic, etc. So in holozoic mode of organisms, what happens? The organisms ingest solid food particles, while in absorptive mode of nutrition, the organisms absorbs liquefied food form of food. So holozoic nutrition means solid food directly, it will absorb everything. But in absorptive type, from the food, only the liquid particles it will absorb. So some protists such as Euglena will perform photosynthesis in the presence of light, and they become saprophytes in the dark. In the dark they cannot prepare food, so that's why eat the dead and decaying organisms. But in the presence of light they will prepare photosynthesis. They will prepare food by photosynthesis. So they are mixed type. So they are called mixotrophs. So plant animals, and their mode of nutrition is called mixotrophic mode of nutrition. What is mixotrophic? Both mix of photosynthetic and also saprophytic. And then for locomotion, they will be having flagella in Euglena, cilia in Paramecium, and pseudopodia in amoeba are found. Then, so let's read about amoeba. What is amoeba? It is a single-celled animal. It is having only one cell, unicellular. It lives in slow-moving water. Where it lives? Where the water is slow-moving or damp soil. So amoeba has a irregular shape. It don't have shape, which keeps on changing slowly. It has some projections. You can see here projections, finger-like projections on its body. So they are called pseudopods, and so it is called pseudopodia. Amoeba moves slowly with the help of this pseudopodia. The cell is bound by a cell membrane. We can see cell membrane is there that keeps the cytoplasm inside the cell. The nucleus inside the cell controls everything like brain. The contractile vacuole regulates the water. So water content of the cell. It will help to regulate the water, and food vacuoles will be present. So in which food is digested. So amoeba respires by diffusion method. Amoeba also reproduces by simple asexual method called binary fission, like same like bacteria. Here binary fission or by spore formation. Amoeba catches its prey with the help of this pseudopodium. This pseudopodium finger-like positions, they will come and take the prey to eat. So entamoeba causes amoebic dysentery. So asexual reproduction of amoeba and other protistans occurs by following methods. So I told reproduction takes by binary fusion or by multiple fusion or by spore formation. Let's see first what is binary fusion. Formation of two daughter cells is binary fusion. What is multiple fusion? When many daughter cells are formed. So when we see when one mature cell splits into two daughter cells, the process is called binary fission. So in binary fission, first the nucleus divides into two nuclei. The nucleus will divide into two nuclei. Nucleus starts dividing here, see. So then the cytoplasm also starts dividing into two parts, each containing a nucleus. Further stretching leads to the formation of two daughter cells. These are formed and it will grow into mature cells, and again it will undergo similar binary fusion. Like this binary fusion in amoeba we can see. Then by multiple fusion, when a cell produces many daughter cells, then the fission is called multiple fission. Sometimes a cyst or protective coating is formed around the cell. So around the cell some cyst is formed. The cell divides many times. So it will divide so many times within the cyst to produce many daughter cells. The cyst is broken down and many cells are released. It is in malarial parasite. It will be like this. So multiple fusion occurs. Next is fungi. So fungi is fungus in singular. It is a plant-like organisms which do not contain chlorophyll. It don't have chlorophyll, like mushrooms, puffballs, toad balls are big enough to seen with naked eye. We can see this, right? Many molds and yeasts are very small and can be seen only in the microscope. Some fungi are harmful while some are beneficial to us. So kinds, we can see two main groups of organisms in fungi, yeasts and molds. So what are yeasts? These are one-celled, whereas molds are multicellular. So yeasts can be stored in dry form like powder, tablet. Yeast can be stored in dry form up to 4 years. Yeasts get destroyed in a few minutes when heated to about 60 degrees. When we heat the yeasts up to 60 degrees, it will get destroyed. So yeasts are disseminated by insects, air and dust particles. So these are got destroyed by all this. And iodine strains yeasts to reddish brown. When iodine is sprayed on this yeast, it will convert it into reddish brown color. Then here you see the blue-green patch which develops on the surface of rotting orange. When we keep one orange for so many days, we can see a blue-green color patch, or white-grey growth on the bread. On the bread, if we keep for so many days, one grey color growth we can see on the jam, bread, etc. And green patches on clothes, even leather shoes during rainy season. All these are nothing but fungi. Some common fungi are Mucor, Saccharomyces, Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. So Saccharomyces cerevisiae is a common species of yeast. Then fungi bread mold. Let's see, it is a non-green fungus. It grows very easily in the moist pieces of covered bread, which is kept in dark places for a few days. It is saprophytic, means it eats dead and decaying organisms. The body of bread mold consists of branched mycelium. It consists of branched mycelium. We can see mycelium made up of very small thread-like structures called hyphae. So some of the hyphae grow vertically upwards and form sporangiophores. They grow very fastly and they will form spores or sporangiophores. The molds reproduce both by sexual and asexual methods. So we can see here common bread mold. See how it is. Spores are formed, sporangiophores. These branches are called rhizoids. And here is yeast, we can see. And this is mushroom. So like this. Where they will live? What is their habitat? So we can see fungi may present anywhere from desert to Very cold places even grow best in dark, warm and damp places. It can be easily found on stale bread, damp clothes, leather shoes, wooden furniture, etc. Then structure, how it will be? The simplest fungi such as yeast are unicellular. We can see they are unicellular. Higher fungi such as molds are multicellular. Like plant cells, the cells in fungi have cell wall made up of cellulose. Their cell wall is made up of cellulose. The nucleus will be present and other cell organelles also suspended in the cytoplasm. So yeast is a very tiny unicellular fungus that form colonies. Means so many group they form like colonies. The size of the yeast ranges from 5 to 10 microns. Even they are also aerobic or anaerobic. They can live in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. So they may be spherical in shape, elliptical or cylindrical in shape. Even they have cell wall, cytoplasmic membrane, nucleus, large vacuoles and large number of granules, fat globules. All these are present in this. So we can see here oil globules, volutin, nucleus is there, chromatin threads, nuclear vacuole, there's no centrosomes. See here, everything whatever is there in the plant cells, everything is there in this. Then molds. So molds are multicellular and have filament-like appearance. The size of the molds differ from 2 to 10 microns. The cotton-like threads of molds are called mycelium. We can see like cotton-like threads in the molds. That is, they are called mycelium, and each thread is called hypha. So some molds such as mushrooms are few centimeters long. When we see like molds like mushrooms, it will be few centimeters long. Molds survive under aerobic conditions. They want oxygen to survive. So, and what they will eat? Nutrition. Some yeasts can grow under aerobic as well as anaerobic conditions. Some yeasts are either aerobic or anaerobic. Yeasts have strong liking for food containing sugar. They like sweets more. That's why on bread it will be present more. Yes, no? So they like sugar containing foods. So they stay there. So yeast degrade sugar to ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So yeast will degrade this sugar into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. That's why it is used to prepare ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide by yeast. And this process is called fermentation. It is very important in industrial process. Fungi do not make their food. They are not autotrophic to prepare their food. They depend on other organisms for their food. So on their mode of nutrition, there are of two types: saprophytic fungi, parasitic fungi. Saprophytic, as I told, they eat on dead and decaying. Parasitic, they live on other organisms for their food. Then we see reproduction. So fungi will reproduce both by sexual and asexual. In asexual fungi, again by binary fission, budding, or by spore formation. Here we can see the nucleus is divided into two. Again the cytoplasm divides into two. Like this, or rapid budding of colony of yeast. Yeast cells detached from the colony like this. So sexual reproduction takes place. Yeast reproduce by budding, whereas molds, mildews and mushrooms reproduce by spore formation. Then what are the uses of fungi? So like bacteria, there are also many useful fungi. So they help in the recycling of nutrients in biosphere, in the preparation of bakery products like bread, cakes and foods like idli, dosa, dokla, etc. because they should be fermented to get puffy. Yes, no? If you want a bread which should be puffy and soft, so then yeast is added to it. Now, even for idli, dosa also. So yeast causes fermentation of the dough, mixture of all the ingredients. Dough means dosa, dough, all this. Yes, no? It get fermented and it will liberate carbon dioxide, which makes the buff to rise. So on baking we will get this dissolved carbon dioxide escapes and will get porous, like small pores and fluffy. So yeast also added to molasses. Sugar industry, after the sugar cane is used, that waste is called molasses and it is used for preparing ethyl alcohol. So yeast is also used for preparation of wines from fruit juices, from like grapes. So wine is prepared, and it also improves the taste of certain cheese also. It is obtained from used in obtaining some important medicines also, like antibiotics, penicillin, which is an antibiotic obtained from the mold Penicillium notatum. Certain fungi like mushrooms, they are used as food. We know mushrooms will we use as food. Then some harmful bacteria also there is, like that some harmful fungi is also there. So some fungi damage and spoil food products, leather, paper, clothes, paint, etc. It will even spoil food due to fermentation. So due to high fermentation, it will spoil food and it will produce toxins, chemicals, and it will make unfit for consumption. After that, we cannot eat that. It will spoil the food. And it also causes skin diseases in human beings such as athlete's foot, ringworm, eczema, like this. The fungus Aspergillus causes a disease called aspergillosis in poultry, means in hens. It will give one disease called aspergillosis because of fungus Aspergillus. Like this, we discussed fungi. So in the next part, I am continuing this lesson. So of kingdom Plantae is there, kingdom Animalia. So and next part will be continued in the next video. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.